I'm confused about that. I'm confused about a number of things, but I'm always looking for clarity, and you're one of the guys that helps give me clarity and understanding about some of the issues that are facing us and things going on in the world. So it's good to have you back, Don Rose, my old friend and longtime political commentator, analyst, and sometimes you work for various candidates.
Every so often.
Don, I'm not sure where we want to start. I've sort of built it today as we're going to talk about everything. We're going to go from, let's just start off with...
we'll cover the world in half an hour.
Let's cover the world in a half an hour. Let's start with the world. Let's talk about President Obama and Michelle Obama going off to across the far blue waters there, and across the blue waters to those lands across the sea, and kind of wowing them. Certainly Michelle Obama got a big write-up in the New York Times today about just everything she's done. What's your take on this trip and actually the seriousness of the issues that were discussed and how he made out?
Well, as a public relations trip, as an international public relations trip, rebuilding an image of this country with Europe and elsewhere in the world, it's just been incomparable. Obama has been an international rock star for a year, and Michelle Obama is one of these people who just captivates the world. So I would say this it just expanded their personalities and by extension the United States, and he made it very clear that this is a clear, clean break with most of Bushism, that we are going into a multilateralist world style rather than the unilateralist years of Bush. So from that point, it was just a remarkable trip. It was good for America's image. It was good for Obama's image. And certainly Michelle, if she needs any image boosting, I don't know how much higher it can get. They are both international rock stars. As you know, I travel in Europe a great deal, spend time in France, and I have often said this guy could have been, last year, elected the president of 3/4 of the countries of the world.
Yeah, he's something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. And but let's get down to some serious issues that he has to deal with. Certainly, did he get enough money out of the G20 folks? He got some amount of trillions of dollars. There's some criticism that really is not that much. They put it in a way that, well, it's a good contribution. How's he doing on that front? And how do you think he... Go ahead, we'll do that one first.
Well, I think he gets lower marks on actually what he extracted. The Europeans are deathly afraid of inflation, and they fear that increasing the contributions to the really $2 or $3 trillion it should be, would be inflationary in their economies. And he was trying desperately to persuade them that we've got to put out this fire now and worry about inflation later. And then you've got Angela Merkel from Germany, who has these memories of what the ravages of inflation in Germany in the 20s were, and they're scared stiff of this. And they are, in effect, saying, you brought this on, you pay for it, which is substantially true, but not totally true. And he just has to work at extracting more money later, just as he will have to bring another stimulus within 6 months, I believe, another great stimulus in the United States.
How about the issues, the international issues? I mean, he had a lot of support from the peace movement. He had a lot of support from everybody. But we have a situation where the people that you and I know, many of them, they're being critical of the bombings in Pakistan. Everyone's concerned about how the slowness of the withdrawal in Iraq, and certainly about sending more troops into Afghanistan. What's your take on his, as he inherited Gates from the Bush? Gates seems to be a transformed guy. But where are we at on all of these war issues that face Obama?
Well, I'm willing to accept a slightly slower withdrawal from Iraq. As long as this withdrawal continues, we saw just the first phase of it. On Afghanistan, this is a very tricky issue. I don't think that he has yet brought along enough NATO and international support for further work in Afghanistan because everybody is confused. We have uh, two kinds of missions or they talk about two missions in Afghanistan. One is to deal with the Taliban, which is certainly a problem. It is a fascistic government that is trying to retake Afghanistan. Then we have the more immediate and single pressing problem of Al Qaeda, which is a problem of both Afghanistan and Pakistan. And they're getting down to the focus on going after Al Qaeda. And the question is, in trying to deal with this other part, trying to deal with fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan rather than the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, you are on the brink of quagmire there. From my point of view, the fight against the Taliban, which is a legitimate fight, these are an oppressive people, is first of all not our primary fight. It is a fight that the people in Afghanistan have to take on, and we should get aid there. Then comes the question of how you deal with this border problem, where the border is something that we invented. There's Pashtun territory that is both in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and the roots of the problem are there. To be concerned about this artificial line that the West drew many, many years ago represents a serious issue. How much can we fight in Pakistan, and how much will Pakistan really, the government of Pakistan, such as it is, be concerned? The last thing, because Pakistan is a nuclear nation, the last thing that we want to see is revolution in Pakistan with the fundamentalists taking over there and putting nuclear weapons. We worry about nuclear weapons in the hands of Iran, which is something off to one side. But how do they stop the fundamentalists and Al Qaeda in that border territory? It's a very tricky one. I am not a military tactician. I know what the strategy should be, but I am as perplexed on that at the moment as it is the rest of Europe.
Don Rose, what's your take on the overtures he's made to Iran and the response that Obama got?
I think there is possibly some hope there. We have an election coming up in Iran, and there is a very, very good chance that Ahmadinejad will go down in this election. Now, we should not...
You heard it here.
We should not believe that the forces of good have absolutely taken over, because it's the Ayatollah and the mullahs in Iran that really run things. But there will be perhaps a better face and a better interfacing when that takes place. So I think we have the fact that he's making overtures to Iran now is kind of putting money in the bank for the hopeful election in the middle of next year. I think. Can I predict it? Hard to predict our elections, let alone overseas. But it really looks to me as if all the mistakes that Ahmadinejad has made locally to their economy will bring him down. And so that allows more negotiating room, and I think that's what they're all counting on right now.